Hey there, this is Alan Brocken. Now that my kids are grown up, they say I'm the cool dad everybody talks about. But if you're like me, I can attest that didn't happen every day. There were a lot of days I was not a cool dad. When they were younger, some days I just didn't even have a word to say. So now that they're out of the house, here's my daily dad word to give you a hand getting your brain out of work mode and into family mode. So let's get started with today's dad word of grandfather. I'll be sharing my thoughts on grandfathers, including a joke or two, so let's get started. Now, one of the things that's really important, even if you're traveling with anybody, it could be your grandfather you're traveling with, is you need to put your oxygen mask on before helping somebody else. So let's just take a moment to breathe. Breathe in through your mouth, out through your nose, in through your mouth, out through your nose. Studies show that just doing some intentional breathing can help clear your mind of all kinds of things. It gets rid of bad toxins and helps you focus. And as you're breathing, again, in through your mouth, out through your nose, I want you to take a little bit to think about, what is it I need to put, below the line? What is it I'm not dealing with right now? Maybe you'll come back to it later in the evening after everybody's in bed. Maybe you pick it up first thing in the morning. But what are those things you need to hang up? The customer problems, the supply problems, whatever it is that's on your mind that you're chewing on. Let's put that below the line and get our focus back on the family. As a Christian, I believe that the Bible's admonition to respect our elders is extremely valuable in helping us remember to honor our grandfather, as they too were fathers who likely had the same struggles we do today. I think that's one of the things, especially as my own father aged and I've grown up, I've seen more of his struggles and more of what that's like. And to think about, my grandfather in the depression and things like that, it really adds some focus. And I think this week's memory verse helps us kind of put the fatherhood in perspective. Our memory verse this week is, yet for us there is but one God, the Father, from whom all things came and for whom we live, and there is but one Lord, Jesus Christ, through whom all things came and through whom we live. 1 Corinthians 8:6. So let's say that again. Yet for us there is but one God, the Father, from whom all things came and for whom we live. And there is but one Lord, Jesus Christ, through whom all things came and through whom we live. 1 Corinthians 8:6. Are you still breathing? Take it slow as you're hanging up the tough stuff for the day. I do have to ask, what do you need to change about your attitude in the midst of your circumstances? When we look back at our grandfather's generation, they went through so much. The Great Depression, World War II. None were more deserving of a bad attitude than the Jews in the Nazi concentration camp. However, today's great word is from Viktor E. Frankl, a Jewish survivor of the Nazi concentration camp, and he tells a different story. In the concentration camp, what alone remains is the last of human freedoms: the ability to choose one's attitude in a given set of circumstances. I don't want to be misunderstood. I can't think of a worse place to be than a Nazi concentration camp. But I've read countless stories of survivors, and the common theme of all the survivors I've ever read about was their attitude. They chose daily, despite the beatings, malnutrition, and the lack of clothing and horrible winter weather, to get through one more day, to have an attitude to drive them through, and that they would survive. And while so many didn't, those that made it through the other side seem to have chosen for themselves the attitude that they would meet the day with. So I have to ask, in the midst of your toughest circumstances, what do you need to change about your attitude? Are you not sure? Maybe you need to talk it out. Why don't you join us on the Daily Word Dad Word discussions group on Facebook? The link is in the description. Are you still breathing? Now, today's kid word is about some kids with a great attitude. It comes from San Francisco Bay Area, where Paige Blake and Katie Easterly founded What's Mine is Yours. They wanted to make sure that no child in foster care would go without clean clothes that were in good repair. So they took it upon themselves to begin collecting clothes for kids in a tough situation. In their first 2 years, they collected 13,000 pieces of clothing throughout the Bay Area. You can learn more about their story and their charity, What's Mine is Yours, with the link in the description. Do you know an inspiring kid with a great attitude, solving big problems, overcoming obstacles, or helping others? Use the contact form at dailydadword.com to tell us about it so we can feature your story and help them promote their cause. Still breathing? If your breathing exercise isn't enough, how about we try some dad jokes? Here's a couple your grandfather might like. It's inappropriate to make a dad joke if you're not a dad. It's a faux pas. No, you don't like that? Okay, how about this one? My dad told me a joke about boxing. I guess I missed the punchline. No, not so funny. Okay, all right. Well, it's your turn. You come up with a grandfather related pun, funny story, or just maybe an anecdote about your parents to share with the family. And thank you for tuning in to the Daily Dad Word. If you're looking for some more inspiration for your family time, check us out at dailydadword.com/dailydadword. You'll find that link in the bio. I have a number of resources there to plant a seed for a lifetime relationship with your family, including a link to the Daily Dad Word Discussions Facebook group. If you found this focus time useful, click like and subscribe to be notified about the next day's show.